Ollie, just what do you think allowed you all to have so much success in the run game on Saturday?
Just being able to come to the sidelines, make our sideline adjustments, really just stuff that coach trains every day is just playing with effort and strain and wanting to be able to finish. We had 5 guys up front that were really wanting to make the big plays happen that did, and all in all, I feel like that it was just mostly just because of the way that we prepare each and every week for each opponent.
What about Jake and then Eric?
Ollie, on Tiyon's touchdown run, you raised your arms as he was getting out ahead of you. Just what was going through your mind on that play, and what did you see?
So basically, we got the play calling, and I was like, I knew I was going to pull, and I told myself, I'm going to make this the best pull I've ever had. And when I pulled across, got off the pull, and I looked up, I saw no one in front of Tiyon, and I was like, that's a touchdown. So, I immediately threw my hands up, playing with a lot of emotion. So,
Eric?
I know it's right here. I know it's a new coaching staff and everything, but you've been in the program a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think sitting back, watching, working hard has prepared you for this year to get a lot of playing time?
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. Being in the program this is my 4th season. Kind of sitting back, taking in all the information, watching the film, preparing, making the corrections for my mistakes each year, and just kind of like seeing the process as it's gone along, especially for me. One thing that I talk to my parents about a lot too is just like you've been in it, you've worked through everything that it's been faced to you, and you continue to strive even through everything that's happened and everything that's going to happen. So definitely just being able to sit back those last 3 years and really absorb all the information from all the great players that I've gotten to see play in positions before me, and being able to kind of replicate and do the best I can.
Ollie, 2 things. One, taking that a step further, you played high school ball here in Knoxville. You're here. You've been in the program for a while, like you mentioned, but now getting to actually be on the field and be an important part of this football team. What does that mean to you to have that kind of playing time and opportunity here at UT?
I basically describe it as I'm living the dream. Every time coming up through high school at Gibbs, it was my dream to come and play football here at Tennessee. And then when I finally got the opportunity, I knew it's exactly the decision I wanted to make. And through these years of being able to not only have support from my parents, but also a huge support from the community. After every game this season, I've had texts from my high school coaches and stuff, just how much they're proud of me and how they continue to use me as an example for their current players of this is what it takes to do what you want to do, and this is kind of like your example. So,
and what are some of the specific areas of your game that you've improved on that's allowed you to take advantage of your playing time opportunity?
I would definitely say this offseason I worked a lot on just being able to get myself in the correct position, being able to use the techniques that we're being taught, being able to do everything that I could possibly do to make myself a better team or better player, not only for the team but for myself as well. Just working everything and trying to replicate everything that coach is trying to teach us.
Wes?
Yeah, Ollie, I know that it's just one game and y'all are focusing on South Carolina now, but if you could kind of take us back to Saturday, when you think of everything that happened to the program after last year's Missouri game and how many bad things went the wrong way, how nice did it feel to kind of have a moment like Saturday as a team to sort of maybe get through some of that?
It was definitely it was one of those moments where it's just you kind of look back at where you've been, and then you see where you're headed and how we still got a long way to go to be where we want to be, but to see the hard work and perseverance finally pay off has been huge for us, and I think it's going to help continue to give us a big motivational push as we continue through the season.
Patrick?
Ollie, following up on Tiyon's run, did you sprint all the way down to the goal line to celebrate, and how tired were you after running 90-something yards like he did?
I used to do that a lot when I played in high school, but that was also about 40 pounds ago. So I used to be athletic, but as I got down there and I celebrated with him, but when I got to the sideline, I immediately sat on the bench and took a couple deep breaths in, but it was definitely worth it.
Is that the furthest out you've ever celebrated a touchdown run by a teammate, 90-something yards?
Definitely was probably the longest I've ever ran to celebrate with somebody.
Brad?
Ollie, you mentioned the work that you put in. Where's your confidence level right now, and maybe what was the lowest point of your confidence level the last couple of years compared to where you are right now?
You know, going back to, I guess, when I first got here, stuff like that, you know, being a new kid that coming from the offense that I came from, you know, I didn't really know a whole lot about different like pass pro techniques and stuff like that. And just being able to sit back and learn it, it kind of like, it was part of me just sitting back and taking the hits that I took to just kind of be able to teach myself what I needed to learn. And then, I mean, looking at it now, I can look back to my first spring here, and I've come a long way, but I still got a lot more that I need to do. But I would say, as the years have gone by, my confidence level has continued to increase, and this is just something that kind of helps build it along the way.
Ollie, the offense couldn't be any more different now from the way it was last year. As an offensive lineman, how big of a change and transition has it been for you from the last offense to this one with the tempo?
You know, it has been somewhat of a change because, you know, obviously with the tempo piece of our offense, we would like to move at a very high pace, but also going back to when I was in high school, you know, running the triple option, we went games where we didn't even throw the ball once. It was just straight run game, run game, run game. And so, I mean, I've had that kind of built-up endurance in my body for years now, and so it's kind of something that I was able to adjust to quickly. And being able to keep up with the pace of the tempo has been it's been hard at times, but at the same time, like, you can see how it pays off, and it's definitely worth it to be, you know, you're a little tired, but you know, like, if you just keep pushing, like, things are going to hit, things are going to be great. So,
Ollie, what has it been like for you under Coach Ellerby, just going back to that confidence development and, you know, working on even just technical stuff like your footwork and things like that? What has he been to you in that?
You know, Coach Ellerby has been a phenomenal coach for me. He's one of those guys that's going to sit back and he's going to talk with you. He's going to coach you through things. He works with you really well. One thing, you know, ever since he's been here is that we've hit, you know, being able to play multiple positions, being able to know all the calls, being able to run if I needed to, being able to run the offense from the center position as well as also tackling both guards. So, I mean, one thing that he's really worked with me on is just being versatile and being able to do everything that he thinks I can do. And him having that trust and belief in me has helped build my confidence a lot.
Yeah, kind of on that, with Ellerby, where have you seen yourself grow the most as a player in terms of maybe your technique or whatever the case may be?
I would definitely say, like, being able to actually talk through technique, being able to work on it one-on-one, whether it be with Coach Ellerby or Coach Aves or Coach Hoodie, being able to really focus in, take that extra time after practice or before practice or even during summer workouts or something like that, being able to take that step back and actually really focus on, like, where my weak areas are, drills I can do to make it stronger and stuff like that. And, you know, it just goes back to being able to go out there and know that they have the trust and the confidence in me to go out there and perform the way that they think I will gives me that extra boost.
Kind of as a follow-up, you mentioned, you know, coming from Gibbs and a different offense. Was there ever a time young in your career or early in your career you felt maybe overwhelmed, or did you know that it would just take, you know, reps and patience?
Yeah, when I first got here, it was a little bit overwhelming. You know, when me and Jerome came in that first winter, I think it was 2017, you know, there was only about 10 offensive linemen out there for that spring practice, and it was definitely like we kind of got thrown into the fire a little bit, having to learn everything. But honestly, those reps, even though they weren't perfect, it was reps that I needed to be able to work on my craft and get better. And then as the years gone on, just continuously working and working and working.
Any more questions? Ben's last one.
Ollie, take us onto the field and maybe even the sideline with Hendon Hooker. What impresses you, and what have you seen from him and being such a successful quarterback recently?
Hendon's a real positive guy. He brings the energy. He makes everybody around him play at that higher level. He continuously motivates us on the sidelines, and he's a great leader on the field.
Brian, go ahead.
Ollie, what have you seen from Cade this year, and has it helped him, you think, to kind of settle in at one spot and play that right tackle spot this year?
You know, I definitely I think it helps him to be able to just go day in and day out focusing at one position. But, I mean, you know, Cade's an excellent player. He's a great leader. And he's kind of one of those guys that really takes pride in being able to not only be a great player for himself, but also be a great leader for the offensive line. Is someone that we can look up to, and if we have questions or if we have problems, he's someone that we can go to, no questions asked.
You mentioned before that this is sort of the dream to play here. How prevalent do you think that is for Knoxville kids growing up, East Tennessee kids to play here?
I mean, I know I can only speak for myself, but I mean, as I grew up, my dad's from Knoxville, and so I mean, we were always ball fans. My whole room at home is just orange and white all over the place. So I mean, it's definitely like, I mean, there's a lot of kids in this Knoxville area that love the Tennessee Volunteers, and like given any opportunity, they would come out here and play their hearts out. And that's kind of something that I've kind of taken with me as I've continued through here, is just knowing like this is my dream, this is what I want to do, and this is me being able to live out my dream.
Thanks, Ollie. Thanks, everybody.